Hey, it's Chidimma Vanessa and welcome to the news, your South African local news, African and international news. So if that's your thing, please subscribe to the channel and also like if you're enjoying the content, and please support us on Patreon. No one is supporting us, no monopoly capitalists, no political party, so the support would be much appreciated. The link is in the description below. The main story today is a debate that many people have been having online, and many people even on the streets are debating about this. If a person is of Nigerian descent, does she deserve to be Miss South Africa? Do you necessarily need to be born in South Africa with South African born parents for you to be Miss South Africa, or there are other ways? Another headline is that the ANC, the African National Congress, out of 7,000 organizations, is ranked number 16 to be the most corrupt organization. You know, the funny thing about this story about Miss South Africa, specifically Vanessa, is that the more people dislike her and spreading all these rumors, because from last week they were spreading rumors saying that her parents are not of South Africa, which is not really possible. There's a video I will link for you so I can explain everything that has to do with South African citizenship, whether you need to be born here, whether both parents need to be South African citizens, and whatever. So this lady got so much hate from last week. I tried to support her and try to tell people online on Twitter X. Please follow me at Twitter X at Chidimma Vanessa if you want more news from me. So I was explaining, telling people that we don't have the full information about this girl. So how can you conclude? Because people were saying she's of Nigerian, which I can tell, Nigerian descent and also Mozambican descent. What's the real truth? Where did they get this information? So apparently they did get the information. And the full story is that the parents, the mother actually has South African citizenship. Even though she was born in Mozambique, she's a South African citizen. I can't say the same for the father. We don't know what his citizenship is. So the laws of the country, even if you are a native of another country, maybe your parent, one of your parents is of another country, but one of your parents is South African, you automatically become South African if you are born in South Africa. So many people don't know this. In fact, they want both parents to be South African born and for you to be South African as well, which is quite on the contradictory, because even Helen Ziller, even many people in South Africa, you would find one parent is not born in South Africa. So should we dudula everyone in South Africa? Let me make another example. With Jacob Zuma's kids, Duduzile Zuma and Duduzane Zuma. Duduzane Zuma is not even South African born. He was born in Mozambique during the struggle. Even right now, his citizenship is Mozambican citizenship. So this guy can also come to South Africa, apply for paperwork, because his father is South African. So we have many people from the armed struggle. Even there's this lady from the EFF, her surname is Chira. She's from Malawi, but her parents are South African. So should we dudula everyone? If as long as you're not born in South Africa, we should dudula you. It doesn't even make sense. We need to follow the laws of the country. If we do this, that everyone in South Africa needs to be a South African citizen for them to be a citizen, then we might end up like Japan. If you have laws in a country where you don't allow immigration, you are in trouble, because the whole economy throughout the world history, people used to migrate. So who are we to stop migration altogether? Think about it. If in your family, you have a family maybe of 10 people, and you are saying, we are not going to allow any outsiders, how will the family grow? It means there might be maybe incest in the family. You might marry your cousin. So at the end of the day, one way or the other, we need immigration. Legal immigration. Illegal, obviously, people need to get arrested. So I don't like this thing of people actually attacking people who are legal. It doesn't matter that she's from Nigeria. As long as she has a paperwork, as long as she has a passport, then we have nothing to cry about. But people online always, each and every day. Imagine the whole day. You are busy tweeting xenophobic things. You are busy saying all vile things. The whole day, your Twitter account is just that. And the worst thing of all, you're not even stating facts. You're stating lies. Because there's even a change.org petition, that the petition for the girl. Change.org had to take the petition down because it's a fake petition, because this lady is South African. So even change.org can't do anything about it. As a matter of fact, there's even community notes on Twitter X. If you see someone saying something that's not true, just do a community note, because many of these people, you can just report them. If someone is harassing Vanessa, because many of them are doing that, imagine you are posting each and every day about one single person and you are spreading lies about them. Obviously, that's bullying and harassment, and Twitter X needs to do something about it. So if there's anyone and you are going online and you are seeing people saying things that are untrue about this lady, just report them on Twitter, because this lady is enjoying herself. She's with her family, with her own people. Even other people from her own country, right there in her own country, are busy supporting her, because no one likes people who are bullying people who are doing the right thing. If you want to bully people, just go to the criminal courts or even the police station, get people arrested if you think they are in this country illegally. It's as simple as that. You don't have to go for people who apparently have one parent that's not from South Africa. That's unfair.
We are rooting for Chidimma. We're hoping that she wins, and it's important to highlight these things when they do happen, because as Nima has said, there is a history of xenophobia in South Africa, and when we realize that the community itself should be intentional about changing the view or the perception other people have of South Africa concerning non-South Africans that live in their country. So it's important for us to just support Chidimma and wishing her the best. That
when we look at the history of Miss South Africa, how many Miss South Africas do you remember? Think about it. How many? Because we've had this pageant for years, like for decades and decades, maybe since the early 2000s. We only know Sonia Booth, and the only reason we know about her is because her husband is actually a soccer star. If it wasn't for that, most probably we wouldn't even remember. Here's one Miss South Africa that everyone in South Africa remembers.
Well, how are you?
I'm good, Steve. How are you?
Good. I'm wonderful. Here's your question. You start out each day by singing very loudly. What's been your go-to song this week?
You know, Steve, to pair up my singing, I like to self-affirm every morning. I look at myself in the mirror and I say, you're beautiful, you're capable, and you're intelligent. So this week I was listening to Brown Skin Girl just to activate that black girl magic.
So with everyone who doesn't want Vanessa to be Miss South Africa, now she's the most recognized face in Miss South Africa. She's the one who's going to be bringing the ratings. And I bet many people will be watching Miss South Africa at this point, because now we know who Vanessa is. I'll be watching as well, because I want to see who'll actually win. What will happen if Vanessa wins? Will people get angry? Because let's remember, even in the whole category of Miss South Africa, there are other European, Chinese people who their parents are not of South African descent. So should we chase everyone out in Miss South Africa? It wouldn't make sense. Or is it because Vanessa is African? Is that the real issue? Because there are other people. There's even a Miss South Africa that can't hardly speak. She can hardly speak English, but she's there. She has a paperwork. So if she has a paperwork, then everything is fine, because Miss South Africa vets everyone. There is no way Miss South Africa can let you enter the pageant and you don't have your papers. This thing is pretty rigorous, because they take like 30 people, and at the end they have to have one. So they have to minus people one by one by one until they find the perfect Miss South Africa. So that's the question. Should we have only Miss South Africa who's South African born, both her parents are South African born? What if the grandparents are not South African born? Will we get angry all over again? Because we have to remember, South Africa is a multipolar, multicultural country. So how can you expect people to be a monolith? There is no way. Someone somewhere out there has a parent who's an immigrant. Some people have illegal immigrants even in their families. And I think we should really investigate the people from Operation Dudula. Because from my experience, anyone who makes noise so much, there are two things. It's either they're a hypocrite or the person that's running the account is not a real person. Because let's think about it. Who wakes up in the morning and decides to do all of this, trying to post all these defamatory statements online? It means that person doesn't have a life or they're being paid. So we need to really investigate Operation Dudula, because if they were of the sense that every illegal immigrant in South Africa needs to be chased out, then it would be a good thing. But if you check to notice, Operation Dudula only wants to Dudula Africans, right? Only black Africans want to be Dudulad. What about the immigrants? Because there was a point that they found out that there were like 10 million illegal European immigrants. So these people were roaming around. No one was doing anything to them. And the worst thing of all is that once the police approach these people, they just present their European immigration papers. So even the police, they don't even know, or they don't even care, or what's really happening. I really hope they solve that issue. So at the end of the day, Operation Dudula, if you want to Dudula people who are illegal immigrants, leave people alone. Because if it's a South African citizen, now it seems bad, because anyone who's a citizen can get attacked for no reason at all. So these people really need to stop. Twitter X needs to do something about this, because this is pure harassment. And the last story, which is not really shocking at all, out of 7,000 organizations, they are found. And the last story, which is not really shocking but a bit puzzling, the ANC African National Congress is ranked number 16 as one of the most corrupt organizations out of 7,000 of them. So now, what's annoying about South Africa, which is a good thing as well, I have to admit, is that Statistics South Africa is one of the best in the world. I mean, in South Africa, our stats, they just release them every now and then. They just release stats. I mean, they say Joburg is the most dangerous place in the world. Think about that. Brazil, have you seen the slums in Brazil? Do you think those slums are safe? Those slums, literally people are walking around freely with AK-47s. Think about that. And you've never seen that in Joburg. But they're saying because of Statistics South Africa and because many countries, let's think about it. America would never allow to release statistics that make them look bad, no matter what. No matter how bad things are in America, they make sure that PR is clean. So in South Africa, we don't care about PR, right? Everything goes. We have the highest crime. We have anything bad you can think of. I just don't want to say it right here. But anything you can think of, South Africa, statistically, we are on point. It's good and bad. So it's a good thing that everyone that comes to South Africa, they kind of know what to expect. If they know Johannesburg is dangerous, then you don't go to Joburg. So other countries, imagine if they hide their stats, you think the place is safe, and it's not safe. Rwanda, you might think is the cleanest place in the world. If they don't release their stats, you might find it's dirty, right? So yeah, Statistics South Africa, unfortunately, they rank the ANC as number 16 as the most corrupt. ANC is not corrupt. We know companies that are corrupt. I don't want to mention names. Okay, in fact, let's mention names. The banks themselves. Who's more corrupt than the banks? Do you remember the whole rent manipulation thing? So the banks can manipulate the rent anytime. So who's the biggest mafia between the ANC and the banks themselves? Let's think about that. Okay, so that's the video for you today. Really hope you enjoyed it. If you enjoyed it, slap a like on it, subscribe. Also follow me on all socials at Lulam Anderson, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, whatever. Every social media I'm there. You can just Google me. Also support us on Patreon. That's the best way to get support because no one is supporting us. So the support would be much appreciated. Anyways, it's Lulam Anderson. For now,